Recording. Austin Howe jumps on. Austin, you don't know about this. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. I don't even know what an album is, but thank you. Hope you wish your father a happy birthday today. DJ White Night as we celebrate. So, Pat Butler in the house. DB, you know about this? Heavy metal. This is classic stuff right here, alright? So, oh, that's good. You're a good kiddo, buddy. I tell you, you're a good kid. AKA Mr. Glass. So, thank you everybody for joining Otto's Grotto, all things geek and unique. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We let music play for a little bit. And then while we're doing this, Captain America Angel, what's up? We got a lot of new Legos. Check out this new Lego. Check out this Batmobile. If this is not Pimp Daddy, can you imagine riding that in the hood right there? That is classic right there. So, we're going to do a few things right now. I'm actually going to do a comic book haul. So, I'm going to let this play for a little bit. And then I'm going to let it go. My goal is to get this up on YouTube. So, Steve and G. Alright, so there we go. Steve, what do you know about this album right there? Classic right there. Alright, here we go. Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome to Otto's Grotto, all things geek and unique. I'm Otto and this is my grotto. So what we're doing a few different things tonight. I'm going to show off some of these books and then eventually this is going to go on YouTube. So we have Slippery Mick online. Alright, we have Mr. Michael Foss jumping on. Alright. So I'm Otto, this is my grotto, and usually we do a show called 3 Men in a Basement. Unfortunately, we don't have that tonight. We have me, solo. So enjoy the show. Got a few things to talk about. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. What we're going to do is, this is part of, I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel to get some more followers and stuff like that. So this is actually being recorded for that. So we're just going to talk about some books, and we're going to have, we're going to talk about some books. So right here, one of the hottest artists right now, I Rock Matina. Mr. Matina is one of the hottest artists out there right now. And it's kind of funny that Nemesis Prime jumped on because he actually had this book autographed for me at the New York Comic Con, and there was some issues about having it slabbed, or not slabbed, but it's slabbed, and then the signature that goes with it. So that was real difficult. I have to walk away right now, but I'm going to show you this book right now until I walk away. So look at that right there, the Virgin variant right there. We'll get some light out of the way, signed by Mr. Matina himself. Good, all right. So I'm actually recording this, like I said, to put on YouTube. So I got some new technology, and I'm just trying to figure out, Mr. Wonkers, thanks for joining you. So that being said, let's get rolling right now. Let's talk about some new books. Hottest artists in the game right now, and we'll talk about the hottest comic book right now. That's right, Metal, with the Batman Who Laughed. So Bernie 1869 was in my ear about this. He's always in my ear about these books. So, you know, I jumped on board. So I said, you know what, pick me up the books. So we did, and I was able to pick up all 3 of them. I'm just trying to remove the glare here. So I have this copy. I have this copy right here, which was part of it. I don't know which one. I don't know. I just jumped in a bunch of them. So I have those, and then I also have this one right here, which is the hottest one going. And this is the Virgin variant, and you can see that the difference right there in the cover. He's got the Joker, or the Quasi. I don't even know who this is. I haven't read the story yet. I apologize. Usually I'm better than that when it comes to these books. So, have you guys read it? I know Roger Levesque, one of my co-hosts who runs it, also has been reading it. He says it's been fantastic. So I'm going to get them. I've been collecting them. So they should be pretty good. This is not kind of the way I wanted this, but that's all right. We'll see what goes on, all right? So I also have some other stuff that I'm going to show. And so in the past month, 6 weeks, I've been going to a few places. I was up in Maine, the great state of Maine. No, this is not a drinking show. This is a comic and collectible show. And if you want to drink, go ahead, which I'm sure you are. I'm sure Mike Foss is, and I'm sure some other people are. So if you are, cheers. Happy Saturday. You know, I did pick up some bourbon. I will talk about some bourbon real quick. I picked this up in Maine. I got this again. Some Larceny bourbon right there. Pretty good stuff. All right. 93 proof. I don't know if you can handle that, man, Gene. All right. So, while I was up in Maine, yeah, it is. While I was up in Maine, I was able to pick up some stuff. So I picked up a What If, which I'm very. This is one of my favorite What Ifs. You know, What Ifs are very inexpensive, but what's really cool about the What If books are they have a lot of different artists. They have a lot of different storylines, and they have a lot of stories that, hey, you know what? In a couple pages, it would have came to fruition. So this is one of my favorites. This is What If, and this is What If Dazzler had become a Herald of Galactus. Don't necessarily know how he must have probably have done that, but it would have been pretty cool. And then, so that's my favorite story. And What If the Iron Man was in King Arthur's court? That was a pretty good story too. So definitely enjoyable. So there were 2 runs of What Ifs. I'm not flipping it. I don't flip. I shouldn't say this. I'm not a flipper of books. I like my books. I keep them and stuff like that. So we're going to just put those down right now. All right. So this was a great book right here. This is What If Wolverine was an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. This was a great book done by Rob Liefeld, and he did the cover. He also did the internal story. So tons of good art. Yes, I know that. I know that. So we've got, that's okay. So we've got that, and great storyline, great story arc. That's pretty good. So I bought that. And, you know, these are books that came out, and they were cheap. They were like 35 cents a quarter. Very much under market value for where comic books were going. But it talked a lot about what was going on with Marvel at the time. So if you can find these Marvel Age books, please pick them up, because they're very insightful to what's going on in the back offices of Marvel, these Marvel Ages. This is Jim Shooter right here. I believe he, at the time, was the editor-in-chief when these came out. Talked a lot about new stories, new stuff that was coming out, like New Mutants was featured in it, and stuff like that. So just interesting stuff right there. I got my buddy G Money Batista just jumped on. Good to see you, buddy. I miss you at work. Although my new job is fantastic, I do miss all my peoples at the D. So thank you for jumping on, buddy. I hope life is good for you. I actually did pick this one up, too. This is a ROM story, a big sticker on it. I probably paid a quarter for it. But inside, it's got some good stuff. Some real good story arcs, you know what I mean? So I thought that was fun. Then, while I was up in Maine at Casablanca Comics, I finally picked this Journey into Mystery 102 up. And relevance of this book, Bernie 1869. Chime in. What do we have here? We have the first appearance of Hela, right? So, now, main characters that are not on the covers really just drive me insane, okay? They just drive me insane. So this is one perfect example. Hela, however you like to produce it, say it actually shows up on, in the last panel, okay? So she is there, full panel. Is it like Wolverine? Pretty much, but they consider this her first appearance. And she is not Odin's daughter. You're absolutely right about that. Bernie 1869, for those on YouTube, just chimed in. This was one of my biggest gripes. She definitely was not one of the Thor's Odin's daughters. So, yeah, picked this up at a good price. It was actually discounted because of Black Friday. Nothing I would have pressed or anything like that, but just a good book to have for the collection, and actually a good key issue. So, I don't know where I picked this one up. I think I picked this one up at a comic show that me and the 3 men went to. If you saw us, we did a little show. It was 3 guys in a little car. So it was me, Roger, and Pat Howe, all 250 plus pounds in his Audi. And we went up, and I picked this book up. And I'm a huge fan of the LOD. And this is a great Grodd cover. And it does have a big, whatchamacallit, it does have a kind of big slice down the center, a big color break, but that's okay. Great story. Love it when Grodd can make the cover. Grodd's a great character, even in the current stories for Flash and everything like that, especially when he was on the Justice League, Super Friends and Legion of Doom. I know, it's insane. It drove me insane. But, you know, for those of you on YouTube, Nemesis Prime is chiming in about Odin's daughter. No, $250. I don't know. I didn't pay $250 for this book. No. All right. So then we have a few other things right here. We have a new book that's coming out by Valiant. It came out by Valiant a couple of years ago, and it was a really cool character. Didn't get a lot of love, so I'll show the first cover of it, and that is NIN Jack. NIN Jack was a very cool character. I hope this character makes it onto the big screen. And I want to thank my executive producer, Bernie 1869, for being out in the wild like he usually does and finding me the variant copy of it. Although not a great copy for what the cover is, it is pretty cool. So if you're listening into the background, you are listening to the soundtrack for heavy metal. I've been collecting vinyl in the past year and a half, and I was just actually able to pick this up. This is a great, great double album from a great cartoon animated movie back in the day. So, no, it's not sold. Anyway, so here's the variant cover of it, which is kind of cool, but, you know, not really, you know, the coolest thing. I like when the characters are on the cover. That's pretty cool. So, thanks for everybody for jumping in if you just jumped on. So, that's what I got for, you know, recent pickups. I got a lot more. A few other books I'd like to show, but, you know, I'm really going to keep this short because this is going to go on YouTube, and we got stuff to do. So, Roger Levesque just picked up his CGC membership, and he's going to send in some books. If you follow him on Instagram, you can see that he does have a bunch of books that he had pressed and cleaned. I don't know necessarily who did the cleaning. He quoted him on his page, but he did a great job. So, yes, heavy metal is great. Mike, this album is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's got Mob Rules. It's got Sammy Hagar. This album is just absolutely classic. And I actually found this in Maine, too. So, not to revert back to the story, but while we were in Maine, in where were we? In Portland, Maine. Great town. And they had this, you know, building, but on one floor they had a comic store, and on the second floor in the basement they had this Impressive Comics with an Impressive, yes. So, but my point is, and then below it they had an album store where they sold albums, CDs, and stuff like that. And I'm like, any chance you got the heavy metal? He's like, it's not the original. It's not the original. I said, I don't care. I'll take it. Let's go. So I picked it up. I've been saving it for today to listen to it, and man, it brings me back to a great time when this music was great. We used to watch these movies, you know, in our teenage years. It was pretty cool. So, the 4 books that I am going to send out to CGC have all been pressed, just so you know. And I'm going to say what the grades are. Then once I give them to Roger, they're going to be off. And we both agreed that we will not look at the grades as they get reported to him. We will do a live unboxing here. Bernie 1869, Pat Howe doesn't necessarily think that we're going to do that. But we're going to. I mean, at least I'm going to. I don't want to know. Okay? So, the first book I'm sending out is King of the Monsters, Godzilla #1. All right? Huge shout out to my Illuminati Comic Talk brother, KP Henderson. He actually hooked me up with this book, and it was pressed. Kevin seems to think it's going to, yeah, no willpower. Kevin seems to think it might come back 9698. Chris Shaver, my good buddy Chris Shaver on IG, he says maybe 92, 94. If it comes back 92 or above, I'm pretty happy with it. It's definitely going to go on the wall, so that's something that I want to get out. We'll see what that comes back. The next book is a book that I did have pressed, Batman 155, the first Silver Age appearance of the Penguin. All right, so I picked this book up at the Raynham Flea Market, which is in Raynham, Massachusetts, and it's an indoor flea market where guys actually set up stores. Chris Shaver just jumped online. Hey guys, if you want to get a great book, jump on his raffle right now. He is raffling off a Journey into Mystery, the first appearance of Thor. There's a bunch of minis. Get in on these minis, because the minis will help you win, and I'm a big fan of the minis. So you win the mini raffle, you get the spot in there, and it pays for it. So he is raffling off the first appearance of Thor. PGX book, the label is incredible. Just an absolutely stellar book. Hopefully I'll be able to get that at some point. But Chris, good luck if you do end up, if that gets raffled off, all right? So, this book is going to get sent out. I'm hoping that this book, actually Chris actually pressed this book. So I'm hoping that this book comes back 775. It's really nice looking. I mean, it is just a great book to have. The penguin, you can actually see the penguin in there, but it's really just a dragon. So pretty funny. So hopefully it'll come back pretty good. I'm excited. Next book is actually, it's kind of a toss-up what I was going to show next as I come to a close here, but I'll show this book. So this book is a book that myself, my buddy Tim Monahan, Mono Damon, Una Matrix Mono, we overvalue the hell out of it, and I believe Roger Levesque does also, and I think it's just because he's the character who he is. So this is actually my 3rd copy of this book. I have one raw, which I did have signed by George Perez and George Perez and, oh my God, Marv Wolfman. Jesus, I'm having a moment. By Marv Wolfman, and I had bought that book when I was a kid at a comic convention, And back when you're a kid, you're 15, 16 years old, you go and you spend $15 on $15 on a comic. That's a lot of money, especially when your budget's like 30 or 40. So I picked this book up again. I think I bought this off of Very Gary on Instagram. I had Chris Shaver press it. And it's going to come back. If this book comes back in 8592, I'm excited. I just want to finally get one graded because I do have 3 raws. Obviously, the one that I had double signed was not CGC witnessed, but that's my own personal book. That book means a lot to me. So again, this character, Deathstroke, Terminator, Slade Wilson, whatever you have to call it, really means a lot. As far as one of my favorite villains in the DC universe, probably second. And when he showed up, and I'm going to tell you, this is a spoiler. If you didn't see Justice League by now, forget it. You're not a fan. Go ahead, forget about it. He shows up at the end in the last trailer, and it is just absolutely epic. And maybe I'll talk just a little bit about what I thought about Justice League. But you know what? I'm going to save that for 3 Men in a Basement because we are going to do a 3 Men in a Basement next week. So, yeah, this book, 8.5, 9.2, maybe 9.0. I don't expect it, but I didn't really pay a lot for it. So we'll see what it comes back. I mean, definitely a nice book. Chris did a hell of a job on it. So we'll see. My double signed copy is not at, yes, we are. Next week, we talked about that when you were at Dakota's. So Bernie 1869 loves to show up at Dakota's. And every time he's about to leave, somebody shows up and then he can't leave. So he ends up hanging out. So that's funny. We did talk about that. Yes, next Saturday, we're going to do it. We'll post it. So the last book is my all-time favorite DC villain. And this book I bought from Zap Comics. And again, I'm going to do another huge shout out. Huge shout out to Nemesis Prime, X-Men, and my boy Death Trooper John, or Jonathan, whatever his tag is right now. Death Trooper 89 right now. They guys turned me on to Zap Comics. And Zap Comics is in New Jersey. And it's probably one of the most comprehensive stores that I can go to. They always have great books. They always show up. And even living in Connecticut, they send me tons of books. So here we go. This book is Green Lantern number 7. The first appearance of Sinestro, my favorite DC villain of all time. So had Chris Shaver press it, and it should come back. I don't know. Hey, Foss's wife is on. That's awesome. Foss's wife just jumped on. We love to go on vacation with the Fosses. So, another member of the LOD. And it's pretty cool. So this book, if it comes back 5.5, I'm happy. That's what I think I paid raw for it. And then thank you. And if it comes back 6.5, I'm even happier. So worked real hard. I've been holding on to this book. And I think it was Justin's, Nemesis Prime's lead, who ended up getting this for me, telling me about it. And I jumped on the website and I was able to do it. So that's my comic book haul. I'm going to upload this to YouTube right now and see how it goes. Yes, and this is the problem. My God, my favorite DC villain of all time. Only second to Black Adam, which I'm going to show. Thank you. It's a nice copy. It does look really nice. And at least Black Adam is on the cover, but that cover is for little kids, man. It's just so childish and immature, but it is Black Adam. I'm going to have to get a graded copy of that, because that book's only going to go up with The Rock. I don't want to talk about right now with The Rock playing him, how they talk about it, that it might be a lighthearted comedy and all this other stuff. I just can't handle that right now. Yes, I think I don't know if I have the first cover of Sinestro. But anyway, so these are 4 books that I'm going to send out. 4 books right there. I said 3. 4 books that I'm going to send out. And hopefully they come back decent grades. So I'm going to hold those off. And while I'm on the Black Adam's topic, let's see where he is right now. He's got to be in here somewhere. Where is he? Right here. So here is the first appearance of Black Adam. Now, you can't get any more childish than this. But at the time, they were trying to, made for TV, Sunday morning cartoons, that's it. But this is the first Silver Age appearance of Black Adam. I don't think this book is worth pressing and getting graded. It's got some writing on the cover, probably come back at 7.5. If I was going to do anything, I'd probably invest on eBay soon though. Deadpool had just jumped online. I wonder, Bernie 1869, do we owe Deadpoolica anything as far as raffle wins, or have we sent everything out to him? And I don't know. So this is my Black Adam cover, and if I was going to get one, like I probably will, I think I might just, buy one raw. So this really was a quick blurb. And that's it. Hope everybody has a great week. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to upload this onto YouTube if you want to see what I babbled about for the first 20 minutes if I was on. But please, guys, 3 Men in a Basement, all one word. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Do I really? I do, because you named, what's his name? Oh my God, I do. All right. Yep, you did. So I do owe you that. Okay. All right. That's going to get out to you Monday, I promise. I'm going to pull it out of this batch right now. You sent him the t-shirt. We should have sent him the Omega Man too. But anyway, so please, guys, go on to Bedlam. That's right. Bedlam was Lobo's partner. So please go on YouTube, subscribe to 3 Men in a Basement, all one word. We're trying to get this going. And then that's about it. So I'm sure I'm going to hear it from the executive producer, Deadpoolica, for not sending out your book. But everybody have a great week. Thank you very much for listening to me talk about comics. And I hope you find some good stuff out in a while. This is Otto, and I am out. Thank you.